Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Look who I am with. How exciting is this? I'm with the Queen, Constance Hall. We have been chatting for ages.
I know. We were supposed to go live like an hour ago, but she won't shut up.
It's so true. Like, I can't stop talking, and you can't stop talking. We basically met each other's match. I'm really, really excited. So tell us, Constance, you've got your book here, and we're going to actually hand it over to your amazing
Publicist
who is going to, who say hi, Angela.
Hello.
Angela is going to take over directing. And we're going to show you this first, and let me just hand it over. Okay, so basically you're going to film us here. Perfect. Amazing.
Thanks, Ange.
Right.
You're welcome.
How do we look? Amazing.
Now, amazing.
Sorry. Yeah, we were just saying, the higher the camera, the slimmer we look.
Exactly.
But you are so slim anyway, and you look amazing.
But you end up looking really short.
Constance just said to me when she comes to Leeds, I can get on the stage with her. How cool is that?
She's going to come to my Leeds show, which I don't know what
when is it? Do we know the date?
Do you know what date it is?
We'll put the date in the...
Yeah.
We'll tell you the date.
We'll put it in the comments section.
We've been chatting all day. You are absolutely exactly how you are on your platforms, on your blog, in your brilliant book. We were talking a lot about honesty, integrity. Mm-hmm. So tell these guys what kind of, because I mean we've chatted about this already and it's going to be on my vlog, but I really wanted to do a live as well because you've touched a lot of women, millions. You've made them feel better about themselves. Talk to us about what drives you, what kind of...
So I think that when I spend too much time online, my motivation and what drives me sort of backs down a little bit, and then when I go and do my touring and meet with all these women, I get a real influx of energy because I realise how much these women need, not me, I could slip away from everything I've created and it would still be there. They need each other, and we all really need each other, and something awesome happens at my shows where everyone just sort of thinks that they can be really honest, and I think that we as a society think that women are a lot happier than they are. There's some huge problems going on, not just the body image, but a lot of isolation. And a lot of the last show we did ended up being pretty much all taken over by women that were trapped in really unhappy marriages.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
And there was a lot of abuse that was talked about, and my managers and stuff were saying to me, we've got to keep them upbeat, but you can't when they're
you have to.
You've got to give it the time that it needs. And it was a real shock. Every other girl, every woman that got up was like, I'm getting controlled financially, and this is happening to me, and that's happening to me, and it was a real tear-jerking.
You are giving people a safe space online
and I don't know how much they talk about that online. So when they come, they can talk about it, but they message me, and you don't want to talk about your crap marriage online, and how miserable you are because you're going to.
But it's almost like you're giving people a space. Sort of, as women, we're sort of scared. We talked a lot about when we have babies and losing our identity and sort of rediscovering our voices. I think that by sharing what you're doing, people can relate. And often we think that it's so individual to us, our struggles, and then you talk about them, and actually it's universal. People say, but I'm going through this, or I don't know who I am, or I love my kid, but I don't know what I'm doing. Is this normal? Is this, who am I anymore? Or you're saying, these women that are coming forward and talking about whatever their personal struggles are. You are almost giving people permission to share that.
Absolutely. When you see, the truth sets you free, it sets everyone free. So when you see somebody talking about something, it takes a load off your back and you can just go, wicked. Because I'm feeling the same thing. And I always think to myself, how come, because we're conditioned to believe that if we're not enjoying every single second of it, we're not good parents.
Yeah.
That has to stop. I know. And it's not okay that you can go to work and you can go back and go, I hate my boss, the fuckhead. I had the worst day at work. Oh my God, pass the wine. And everyone goes, yeah, don't worry, so did I.
Yeah.
And you can't finish a day of motherhood and go oh, it was the worst day of my life. The kids were fucked. You can't do that because then you're not an organic, natural fucking. I don't know what.
But I think thanks to blogging, this democratic platform, thanks to you've got millions of followers, this Facebook page, suddenly we can talk about that, and other people go, I feel this way. I'm not scared. When I had a traumatic birth, I was scared to even talk to my midwife, the health visitor. I was scared to talk to my family, even though my family was so supportive when I did. I was scared because I felt like I had to hand my cervix back in, that I wasn't a good mother, that I was failing. I felt like a big fat failure, right? And at a time and actually I had to it took a lot of strength at a time when you have no strength to actually go and see your GP and say, do you know what, I don't feel right. And I had to really convince, I had a locum GP and I remember it like it's yesterday. He was like, you look fine, you sound fine. I'm like, but I'm not fine. And it took me a lot to come here. So I think, had blogging been bigger then, because I was like one of the first parenting bloggers at the time, there were a few before, but it felt like it wasn't a thing.
Yep.
So actually people weren't being that honest. That honest conversation that we have now wasn't happening. And it's breaking down barriers.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so necessary.
It really is. And also we were talking about creativity and about the fact that we can very easily, and you guys can get your art out into the world. So tell everybody about the book and why you self-publish it. This is a book, it's raw, it's honest, it's beautifully written, it will move you, stir you. We've got to make a movie out of this book. I'll direct it, Constance, I'll direct it.
You can totally
talk about what
So the book, I wanted to start writing this book years ago. But I obviously don't have any publishers that could give a shit about me back then. And so then I started blogging, and then all of a sudden my following grew really, really, really quickly. And so all these publishers started coming to me and they were like, can we put together your blogs and make a book out of them? But that just felt so cheap and nasty to me because,
you didn't want to do that.
Well, it's already online. How can you ask someone for money?
It had to be
for
something
that
new.
they can access?
So
I was writing this book anyway, which is half feminism, half memoir, half everything. It's got no real genre or anything like that. So all the publishers were like, can we have it? And I was part of me was if I was young, if I was 18, then maybe a little bit of my ego would have been I want a book published by Penguin. I could take that to the grave with me. But instead I was just nah, I don't need to be published by anyone because I've got a direct, and I also really don't like the media, I don't like big publishing houses. I really wanted to stick it to the man because they've stuck it to me for so long. So having them all there begging me, I was I got the power now, bitch.
but in a very real sense, creators do have the power now.
Yeah,
we have flipped this media round.
Yeah.
I love my editor and my publishing house. Let me just say that now. But, but what I'm saying is, and they're amazing, and they value my vision and what I want to do, and I'm doing something different, as in I'm hopefully going to empower all you guys to be mum bosses. You're a mum boss as well. You're going to be in my book, aren't you, Constance?
Yeah.
I'm going to share.
Totally.
Constance just said, this is her favourite interview before.
Totally, favourite interview.
No, but literally, you wanted to self-publish because you wanted your story out there and what you were doing. And actually, for the first time ever, bloggers, vloggers, influencers, we are literally, we've got the power because
we can do whatever we want. Yeah,
and that's a really beautiful thing.
Publishing houses offer you 10% royalties of your own creative IP, and I just think that's a joke. And I think that now that we have an online presence, they're gonna have to stop ripping off artists. They're just gonna have to stop. I wouldn't go for them anyway. It's been a head fuck, don't get me wrong. Distribution, everything is not easy, especially when you start selling as many books as I sold. You've sometimes feel you're drowning in stuff. I'm lucky.
So you sorted out the printing, the publishing?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
everything. And we're not even in bookshops, so everything's distributed from the printers. And
wow, that's weird. But you've become your own publishing house as well.
In a way, absolutely.
And that's a very empowering thing. Yeah. I think there's a place for publishing houses. As I've said, I'm really happy with mine and everything. And obviously these are Constance's views, not mine.
I'm so getting you dropped. No. I'll publish a book. I'm going to publish a book now.
Oh my gosh. But what is brilliant about you, you're honest about the process. I was shocked. Constance only started her blog in 2015. I thought you'd been around the end of 2015. So literally in a year and a half, 2 years, which just shows you, because a lot of people say to me, I want to start a blog, but I feel like I'm too late. And I'm like, no, you're not too late. This is a brilliant time. Yes, it was great that I started in 2010, at the end of 2010, because I was able to make all the mistakes, to build a big archive. No one knew. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I've gone back to some old posts going, did I really write that? Delete. But it's that thing of just, now is a great time for people, isn't it?
Absolutely.
To start writing, sharing.
Yeah.
What advice would you give? What's been the best part of doing what you do?
A piece of advice that I think is really valid and that a lot of people fail on, I see them failing on it. I see it my friends start blogs and stuff, is don't forget who you're writing to. You're not writing to your best friends. You're not writing to your parents. You're not writing to people. Don't be shackled by the things that you won't say to them, because your aim is to reach a broader audience. So I perceive people, I couldn't write that though, because like my sister would be upset with me, or my dad, you know, like I could never share that. And I just think to myself, don't let that hold you down, because the people that I know go, oh my God, I can't believe you wrote that. That was so, oh my God, I could have killed you. And I'm like, well, 75,000 other people liked it.
And it resonated.
Yeah, exactly. So you just think, you've got to think bigger than just your immediate circle. And I think that you need to write your blog, and then I think you need to reread it, and you need to ask yourself, like, what was my agenda in that? Where was I trying to go with that? Was I trying to make myself sound a little bit smarter, or a little bit better mummy, or a little bit, was a bit thinner, a bit hotter, a bit sexier? Where was I doing? And then rip the agenda out and just make it
real,
honest and real.
Because as a director, one of the key things is about getting emotion on screen.
Yeah.
As a filmmaker, you want to touch people, you want to transport them across geography, but really you just want them to feel something. And I think when I look at your content, why it's so shareable, why it's so moving, is because it is emotion on screen. It is the thing, it is that magic that us all creatives are looking for. And you know, that's why people want, because you make them feel something, you make them feel better themselves, you make them feel less alone, you encourage them, and I think that's what the beauty is. And because it's integrity, it comes down to integrity. I don't think people can last in this industry without that. And I think it's normal to feel scared, to think, oh, I've got to like self-edit, or can I really show my real self? But actually, I always find the stuff that really hits nerves, or really gets shared a lot, or really touches people, I don't mean it hits nerves in a bad way, by the way, but I mean really, you know, makes people think or whatever. It's the things that make me a bit scared to hit publish. I'm a bit like, I'm frightened, and I know.
Absolutely.
Because you are scaring yourself. We've talked a lot about self-doubt before.
Yep.
And like, you know, as creatives, it's normal, right?
Oh, totally normal. If it's not making you anxious or doubt yourself, it's probably not worth doing.
Yeah,
you know?
I love that.
Yeah.
Because you're out of your comfort zone, aren't you?
Absolutely.
What have been the big things that have made you, that you felt you've grown a lot? Like, what are the things that have made
things happen every single day. Every single day something happens to me that just makes me get that fierce, you know, that fierce thing that women get, where like everyone else is smiling and laughing, and you're just like, this is why I do what I do. Like the fucking patriarchy that I have to deal with, that I have to like listen to on a daily basis. Like what we were talking about before with Angelina Jolie, fucking gets me every time. It's like I was saying before that we were watching the Madonna video when she accepted her award, and she was saying that everybody used to abuse her. She got raped. She got, you know, like horrendous abuse and insulted to her face, and then she married Sean Penn, and all of a sudden everyone just backed off because she was safe. And I see that happening in my own social scene. Like a woman becomes single, and also she's bitched about. She's just everything. All of her decisions are questioned. But when she's in the happy little white picket fence, she's like, "Hey, she's safe now. You don't have to bitch. Yeah, you don't have to bitch about her. It's not a threat anymore." And I even got it to a smaller degree when I separated from my husband. Like the very first time I ever said that we. You know, thinking about separating and living separately.
People attacked you, didn't they?
Oh, attacked me. They just turned on me straight away. They were like, well, I would have left you because you're this and you're that and all this stuff. And I was just like, whoa, I was used to online love. And all of a sudden, like, these girls are like, I can't do this with you anymore, I'm sorry.
Is that because you are fearlessly making choices that are right for you?
I think
they're
not
being contained by, I've got to do that. You are following your heart, and actually that's the key to happiness, isn't it?
I always
to live that truthfulness, and maybe that scares people because they're not brave enough to do the
same. It brings out problems. So when I broke up with my husband 3 years ago, I had a really good friend, and we used to just bitch about our husbands all the time. That's all we did. Was just bitch, drink like, oh my God, mine did this and yours did this, and oh, he's such an asshole. I loved her. The minute I broke up with my husband, I never heard from her again, and I always remember it because I remember thinking to myself. First of all, I was like, what a bitch. Like, I'm single, I need her. Yeah. And then I realised that it was such a direct reflection of what she wasn't able to do. So they say misery loves company. So, like, if someone's really upset and you're sort of like, it's like if somebody can't get that job, but they don't want to go for that job because they don't believe that they're going to get it, so they just put themselves in a prison. And then you're going to, fuck it, I'm going to go and get that job.
I'm going to do it.
And then your friends that have put themselves in these, like, prisons... Which is not their fault because society pushes us into these like boxes.
They do. They tell us that
they're going to want to bitch about you because it's going to make them feel better about why they didn't do it. You know.
I mean, talking about that as well. I think that we don't see enough strong women in the media. I think that some people fear women like us a little bit. I mean, a lot of people love us. We have a lot of love, and I'm very grateful to that. But I do think to some people it's intimidating because we're like, we know what we're good at. We stand up for other women. We refuse to let other people make us feel shit. And by the way, we do feel shit sometimes. That's life, and we're human. But we don't let people put us down. We get back up again.
Yeah.
We keep sharing. We keep writing. We have big dreams.
Yeah.
Today we've just been talking about how, you know, you'd love to make that into a movie one day. I'd love to get back. So, like, maybe make my film in a movie one day. You know, like, we're dreaming big.
Yeah,
we're allowing
yeah.
ourselves.
Yeah.
We're not going, no, actually, we don't deserve this.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, when we've got PMT, we were saying, yeah, don't ask us then, good job not doing that like them. Literally, but on a very real thing, I think that's because people aren't used to seeing that. And we're actually trying to redefine that bit, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely,
Like,
yeah. And you've got to fully go against the grain, because you're gonna, like, you've got to weather the storm. Like, people are gonna be trying to pull you back and go, no, we have a system, and the system works, and you don't get to do that. So you've just got to be strong for it, I think.
You've got to be strong. I think you've got to surround yourself with your strong tribe.
Yeah, totally.
People that are equally strong, so we can all lift each other up.
Yeah.
I think we need to check ourselves before we wreck ourselves, and like don't self-sabotage as well.
Yeah.
And that also means don't talk badly and judge people for their decisions if they're not the same for us, because at the end of the day you end up just feeling shit about yourself anyway.
It's going to come back and
So yeah, so like just be the best you when you can be, but also accept, you know what, I've got PMT, my hormones are not my own.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to be crazy.
I'm going to be an asshole for the next 3 to 5 days.
Yeah, exactly. 35?
3 to 5.
3 to 5. Okay.
Actually, my period only lasts 1 day, which is why I was telling you that I had to get like all my hormones checked.
And everything
thought
was
I was
fine.
menopausal. Everything's fine.
Oh my god. So 1 day, I'm jealous.
1 day, and it was
I have like
amazing.
8 days and I'm like...
8 days?
Yeah, like nightmare. Like,
Oh my god.
I actually like...
How much laundry do you have to do during those days?
I prefer being pregnant to having PMT. And this is a real thing. And do you know what's amazing about like blogging and social media? Like, we can talk about these things frankly, because like no one was even telling me before having a kid like anything real about having a kid. I was looking at the movies, I was like, oh my gosh, now I almost wish that I'd had my first child later, because I just feel like
you
you
would have
feel
had more access
so
to
alone.
more
But even
information.
stuff about like your periods or how you're gonna feel, or that I think periods get worse as you get older.
Oh, definitely.
Like,
I think
who
after you have
lied to
kids,
me?
they get worse.
Yeah, they get worse after
Yeah.
kids. I thought everything was going to be fine after, because I thought like it helps almost reset your system, and you're like, yeah. So, no, that wasn't the case.
You get a better vagina.
I had 2 C-sections. You know,
I
I can't comment on that.
She's
baby.
bragging now. She's
No,
still
I'm
got a lovely
bragging.
vagina.
I was going to say, when I had a smear test, the nurse was like, are you sure you had a baby? And I was like, I know. My husband, I was like, high five my husband.
That is so not what they say to me.
Right, you are the most empowering mum boss, right? I love that
Thank
title
you.
because I think like, you know, my business is because I'm a mum and about being a mum and about lots of other things as well. And like, hopefully it's like empowering for other people. And talk about like, how's motherhood sort of, has it fed your creativity? Because I think for me, when you have kids, you have less time, you've got fewer hours to get stuff done, so you're quite ruthless about what you put your energy towards. And actually, in history, art is always born from restrictions, financial, time limitations. If you look at like the history stuff, and actually I think, and something that I write about a lot, is that for me, maternity leave gave me like this window where I was like, do you know what? My old life, my old job of directing 15 hours on set, 12 hours on set, it doesn't fit anymore. And this gave me a way to do what I want to do. So how have you felt? Have you felt that kids have sort of changed up the way that you're...
Definitely. And I think that there's so much, like, before I had children, my head spun. I was just like, death wish, always out, drinking, taking risks, like, you know, doing weird, stupid things. And I look back and I go, what was wrong with me? But having a baby grounded me so much that all that energy that I was spending on, like, being out and being Miss Social Butterfly and coming home at 3 a.m. and, you know, all that crap, all that energy was then put into, like, actually being... And I didn't even realise that I was smart, you know? I thought that I had no idea.
People I've met. I was saying this actually when you were out of the room. We were saying this, weren't we, Angela? Like, you are so clever. And I'm not saying this to, like... You know,
well, I didn't say that to you.
No, but you are like and the way that you write, but also you are literally when the start.
Well, see, when I felt like before I had children, I didn't even have the opportunity. I left school at 14, and then when I had my second baby, I was like, fuck, I'm going to uni. And I went and sat my stat test, and the test said that I was in the top 97% of the country. But nobody in my whole family
women in Australia
thought that I was. But everybody thought that I was because I'm dyslexic and I like left school so young.
You're a genius.
So I
You're
felt
a
as if
genius.
like having children. I would have never done that had I not had children. It's managed
So
to make everything
they were a
focused.
catalyst then?
No, they've grounded me. So they're not. I don't think they've done anything fucking amazing that's made me go, oh my
But they
god.
grounded you, but then they've given you.
No, what they've done is they made me stay still. They forced me to stay still, and I had to stand still for so long, and it was driving me crazy, but also pushing me into different elements of my life. So I had one baby, and I was like straight back at it, and I was like had that anxiety of getting my body back, and I got my body back and did all that stuff because I wanted to be a MILF. and then the second baby, I was like similar, and I was always like still like being creative, but I was still going back to my old ways of valuing myself on how I looked and wanting to have the social life and being, and then almost like there is a God, because then I just got smashed with the twins, and I was like, oh my god, now I literally can't do anything, you know, like I
read that
really
bit in your book
struggled.
where you were like on the couch.
It was time to just take a breath, take a deep breath, and just go, this is where you are now. You're still. You have to be still. You've got these beautiful babies, and they love you, but you cannot keep going and keep like. And that's when all this like creativity came through. I mean, it's always been there.
It's always been there, but maybe it gave you a window for having the kids and having that time away from what had become like your natural life and going out. Totally. It gave you a chance to like realise your potential, like realise it, but also act on it as well. And because you know what, it's easy to get onto Facebook, isn't it? It's easy to sort of write a blog post. So it's quick, it's instant.
It's quick and it's easy.
You don't have to like spend an hour, like you know.
You can be like breastfeeding, drinking tea, and like blogging to like a million people, and it's just
was it when you realised for the first time that this was becoming your career? When was that when you went, wow?
Well, I don't get paid to blog. Still to this day, I don't get paid to blog. My website earns revenue, but it's nothing that you'd write home about. The book earned me money, and it wasn't until I started like pre-selling my book that I was just like, oh my god, I'm actually earning a career. Like, this is money, and I'm like supporting myself out of writing. Amazing. And I've always been a painter, so I've been able to like. My paintings would sell for like $400 to $500, and they'd take me one night to do. So I've always been able to support myself a little bit. It wasn't huge, you know. Obviously, artists get 20 grand, but it was enough for me to know that I could do something I loved and earn money. And I sort of wouldn't settle for much less at the time. But I have something to say about that as well. Like, I feel bad for women who hear me say that and they go, oh, like it sounds almost like I'm bragging. But because I had a husband who covered all my needs, all of my financial needs, I was able to explore creatively and just make that decision. I wasn't going back to $18 an hour hairdressing. If I didn't have that, it would be a different story. But I had it at the time. So like people always go like, live your best life and you know, be your most creative self and like aim high and don't settle for shit jobs. And it's like, I fucking hate that because some people actually have to.
Yeah, some people have to.
We have to settle for shit. We have to take boxes.
I mean, in the UK, there is maternity leave. It's not lots of money, but what I've been writing about as well recently in my book is that I think that what's been great for blogging, because at the start when I started I was on maternity leave, I did have a bit of savings, not loads from directing, but I did have some, and like, you know, I was lucky that my husband went back to work, but I mean things didn't take off. Well, actually, I started getting approached a few weeks in, which was amazing in 2010. You know, forward-thinking brands. But for it to really have become like a proper job was kind of 2012. By the time I'd had my second kid. But I think what I'm saying to people, like my advice is as well, that when you actually do something and you realise that you're really passionate, because if you don't try something, how do you know? It becomes quite addictive. You're like, I've written something, it made me feel good, I shared it, and at the beginning your friends are going to read it, a few friends on Facebook, and maybe someone's going to share it. Actually, things can spiral quite quickly as well. But it becomes quite addictive, and you find time, even if it means you're sat on the toilet. Like I've written quite a lot of my book on the toilet, by the way. Totally. And like, you know, and like 2 a.m. like it's crept into my sleep time. But I'm like, I'm so passionate about it.
Absolutely, that you'll find time.
And so I think
it's like your hair. Like, look how beautiful your hair is, and you're a mum of 2.
No, but my hair.
Still find time.
No. But I've just been to Jason Collier. He's like the most amazing hairdresser, a friend of mine. He does like Victoria Beckham. He does like Victoria Beckham's hair and stuff. And like, really? He's so sweet. He's like, come and do my hair. So my hair is often in a
but I have a girlfriend who was like, I don't want to have kids because she looks like you. She's so beautiful and well done. She goes, I don't want to have kids because I don't want to stop, you know, with all this. And I'm like, no, whatever you're passionate about, you will make time for.
And that's my hair is so high maintenance and crazy that I either have to straighten it or like it's in a bum, and it is. And actually, do you know what I remember? Was it Nigella Lawson who said like makeup is armour? And I remember kind of, like, to me it is a little bit like, even if I'm doing the school run, even though I just put like a quick bit of lipstick, you know, I might usually wear shades because my
I'm the same. I don't leave the house without mascara.
Mascara's your thing.
Balls. Like, I'm like, What happened to my eyes? They're gone. I'm bald.
Oh, you're beautiful. But listen, my battery's dying, isn't it? Because Angela's saying, this has been absolutely amazing. Where can they buy your book
Thank you for having
from?
me. Just through my Facebook page online.
Facebook page, Constance Hall. You guys all know her. What a hero. I'm sorry we
Thank
didn't even
you.
get any people's questions. Were people leaving questions?
She knows
Sorry,
she didn't
guys.
shut up. Like, did I even
It's been your
talk?
it's been your most liked Facebook Live ever.
Woo! Constance, you see, you're a superstar.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. I love you too. We've had the best, honestly, like we totally connected.
Yeah, we have.
It's so lovely.
We're besties.
We're besties now. But no, literally, like you are amazing, and thank you on behalf of everyone that. Because you are changing things for everyone. You are making people feel empowered and loved and worthy and queens, right, guys? So thank you so much. This has been like career highlight.
Oh,
Don't tell Jamie Oliver. Listen, no, I love Jamie Oliver.
Did
as
you
well.
make Jamie
Yeah,
Oliver?
I cooked with him.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
He is so lovely.
I love him.
I'm sure he'd want to hang out with you.
Can you
and
ask
cook with
him?
you.
Because you got his
Jamie,
number.
watch it. I don't have his number. It was like a press thing, but you know.
Jamie
no,
could get me back into cooking because I don't cook.
Oh my gosh, no, Jamie was amazing. I've cooked with some really cool TV chefs actually because I love cooking. I love to cook for you one day. Come to Leeds. I'll cook.
We're
for
coming
you.
to Leeds this
But
weekend.
tell
I
me,
will.
and then we'll do something. But anyway, guys, buy the book. You're already following Constance anyway. Thank you so much. See you
Thank
next
you so
time.
much.
Woo!